let me just say that I'm not a candidate, so let's get that very, very clear right now. I'm here truly as a concerned citizen because I've seen it up close and personal.
Democratic West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin speaking to diners in Derry, New Hampshire Friday, saying he's not a presidential candidate right now. Speculation is running high that he could run as a third-party candidate. Senator Manchin joins us now from Washington. Welcome back, Senator.
Good to be with you, Shannon. Stay warm. Stay warm.
Listen, we're doing our best here, but you've been in cold territory, too.
Yeah.
A quick trip up to New Hampshire. By the way, New York Times reporting on that described you as, quote, being known for a love of the spotlight that stands out even among U.S. senators. So how much of this is about staying in the public eye now that you're not going to run for your Senate seat again versus seriously testing the waters about a third-party run?
Shannon, with everything being so divided in Washington, anybody who's independent enough to vote what their conscience is and be able to go home and explain it is looked upon and thinking, here we're trying to grab the spotlight. It just seems to be on you because they don't have any control over you. So I've always been that independent voice. I try to represent my state of West Virginia and basically keep my pledge to the Constitution, which I've taken to uphold and defend the Constitution. So I'm going to be very independent. I'm looking at both sides, trying to find what's best for America.
Okay, lots of flirting with America, though. Do you feel like it's time to make your intentions known?
Well,
What's your timeline?
Let me just say that I was invited to St. Anselm's College in New Hampshire, which I think is historically a very independent bellwether state. When you have over 40% of the electors in that state that are registered as no party affiliation, it's kind of hard to get an idea of where they're going in the control. So that was the best place for me to have a conversation and find out what they're thinking and what they're looking for. They feel homeless and helpless. They don't believe that the Democrat or the Republican Party, as of today, that have gone to the extremes, really represents who they are, and they're looking for that. So we had a good dialogue. Americans Together is what we're proposing, and my daughter Heather and I have been working on that. She's been the force of this and trying to give a voice to the voiceless, people that don't have a voice.
Some of those voices in New Hampshire, though, according to the accounts I read, were urging you to run for president. So can you give us a timeline? We're late in the game. It's 2024. What's the timeline for a decision?
Here's this, Shannon, for any third-party attempt, it'll define itself by, let's say, Super Tuesday, if there's going to be any movement whatsoever. The No Labels people are good friends of mine. I think the world of them. I've been working with them for many, many years. And they gave a venue for disgruntled Democrats and Republicans that felt that they weren't being heard, and they wanted to work together, and that's been what I've been a part of. This is not No Labels. This is Americans Together, trying to give a voice for those people and how they are able to participate better, whether it be on a primary, changing the primary process to a majority so more people have an opportunity to participate, and also breaking down this horrific gerrymandering situation that we have when you have about 380 or 390 districts in America, congressional districts out of 435 that are already cooked. People want a change. They don't want the business model in Washington.
Well, there are people in your party who do not think this third-party run is a good idea. Of course, many of them have expressed they think it's going to hurt President Biden if it does come together. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi said this week: I think that our democracy is at risk, and I think that No Labels is perilous to our democracy. I say that without any hesitation. At what point would you make the decision that you think a third-party run was, quote, perilous to democracy?
Well, let me just say, I have never been a spoiler, nor will I ever be a spoiler on any election. If I'm involved to win. But to be a spoiler for the sake of throwing the election one way or the other, I would never do. And that's not what, how or what I would ever make a decision about. So we'll just see where we are at that point in time. Right now, both parties seem to have a hard time with the candidates.
What is the point in time? What is the point?
I think you start looking after Super Tuesday to find out what the lay of the land is going to be. A lot can change in the next 2 months, so let's wait and see.
Let me ask you about one specific policy issue playing out in Washington right now. They're trying to get to a border deal. Senate negotiators are working around the clock on that. You have advocated for work permits for people who are here illegally. That seems to be one of the issues they're really having crunch time on. Your GOP colleague Mike Lee says this is how that tends to play out when you're giving out permits.
And we'll give you a little slip of paper that says one day you'll be called up for an immigration hearing. Can't tell you when that will happen, but it may be a decade or more, maybe 12 years, and for that matter, before you get it. In the meantime, have fun. And by the way, within short order, you'll receive a work permit.
Over at the Migration Policy Institute, Mazarov Shishti, who's a senior fellow there, says during those years when this is happening, you can get work or authorization, so the backlog becomes the magnet. So why support a policy that clearly is drawing millions of people here illegally every year?
Shannon, let's make it very clear. First, Mike's a friend of mine, so we have a lot of good conversations. But here's where we are. This is the most dangerous situation we have. It's a crisis at the border. Anybody that tells you different is wrong. They're misleading you. I've been there. It is a crisis. It's dangerous for our country. It must be stopped and shut down. But we have a tremendous amount of people have already been turned loose in this country. Don't you think if we can shut it down and stop what's going on in the border, so forget about trying to attract more here, they're not going to get in. I think the parole system...
But they are getting in. And
well, they shouldn't.
That's the problem, Senator, because if they think that they can get a work permit once they get here, that's going to be very attractive to them. And this is a very dangerous, as you said, journey for them to get here.
Shannon, what I have said, shut the border down. Stop the border paroles. That's what I would be for. Stop that from coming in. Stop the illegals from coming across illegally. Stop that. And then what you have here, we have to adjudicate the people that have already been turned loose. Let's start gathering that up and adjudicating to find out if they qualify for the asylum that they claimed. But they should be able to work and pay for themselves while they're here until we make a decision whether they're supposed to be here legally or not, or be exported back out, deported back out. So that's all we're saying, just common sense.
All right, Senator, I'll let you take that up with your friend Mike Lee. In the meantime, we'll check with you again sometime between now and Super Tuesday. Got anything to tell us? Let us know.
No.
Thank you, Senator.
I think everything basically will work itself out. We'll just have to see. But the people want something different. They want us to be normal. They want us to make common sense. Work together. Americans together is working together.
Okay, if that's something different as you, let us know.
Okay.
Senator, thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.